I've always felt a bit different, like I was tuned into a frequency others couldn't hear. As a child, I had visions that seemed more real than reality itself. More than once, I saw myself reading scrolls in another language. Shadows danced in my peripheral vision, whispering secrets in a language I couldn't understand. At times, the line between my inner world and the outer world blurred. My family never really knew, but one of my 5 siblings always said I was adopted. I tried to ignore them to fit in, but the feeling continues to this day. I am different. This difference I didn't understand, but now know. We choose our families for the lessons we need to learn. After my second near-death experience, I almost felt like I was going crazy. The fear intensified, and boy, did the assassin love it. The whispers became louder, more insistent, the shadows more menacing. I felt hunted, like something dark and powerful was watching me, waiting for me to weaken. I tried to pray and plead them away, but they were always there, lurking in the corners of my mind. For several months, I lived in fear of these experiences. I wondered if they were a sign of mental illness. I literally felt like Jim Carrey in the movie Bruce Almighty. I tried to shut them out, to sage them away, but they only grew stronger and scarier, especially when I saw myself hanging from the front porch and had the Grim Reaper appear. I now know they were not simply my imagination, just as the story of Fatima wasn't. I knew not to go to the doctors or they'd have me locked up. Slowly, my fear began to dissipate. I realized that the darkness I felt wasn't something to be feared, but something to be understood. I started to listen to the whispers from the bright side of the universe. I began to hear the voices of messengers from another realm. The visions that had once terrified me changed and took on a new meaning. They weren't random hallucinations, but glimpses into a deeper reality, a spiritual dimension that existed alongside our own. I realized that I wasn't crazy, but gifted. Thank God. At last, I could talk with my mother. I had a connection to something bigger than myself, something profound and mysterious. Section 3. Redefining madness. My experiences have led me to question the traditional definitions of mental illness. What if what we call madness is simply a different way of perceiving reality? What if those labeled as crazy are simply more sensitive to the unseen world, the spiritual energies that surround us all? We live in a society that is afraid of the unknown. We pathologize anything that deviates from the norm, anything that challenges our materialistic worldview. But what if the true madness lies in our denial of the spiritual dimension, our refusal to acknowledge the vastness of human consciousness? Perhaps it's time to redefine our understanding of mental health. Instead of focusing solely on eliminating symptoms, we should be exploring the root causes of these experiences. We should be creating space for people to share their stories without fear of judgment, to explore their unique connection to the spiritual realm. Section 4. The Assassin's Presence. While a presence remains, it is from the light. I discovered how to have dark entities eliminated. No more lurking in the shadows of my mind, whispering doubts, fueling fears, or attempts to sabotage my progress. Any force of negativity feeds on vulnerability and despair. The assassin targets individuals' fear and weakness, those who are sensitive to the spiritual realm, those who have the potential to bring light and healing to the world. It seeks to silence our voices, to extinguish our inner flame. It wants us to believe we are broken, unworthy, and alone. Its methods are subtle, insidious. It will plant seeds of doubt, amplify insecurities, and magnify our fears, and even cause us to be mean. It manipulates our thoughts and emotions, leading us down a path of self-destruction. It's a master manipulator, a puppeteer of the psyche. It knows our vices. I never used medication. I used a ton of sage that filled the air. When that didn't work, I asked for a power greater than God. That's when I got help. Section 5. The Power of Choice. Despite the assassin's attempts these days, I've learned that we have a choice. We can succumb to its darkness, allowing it to control our lives and think we are crazy, or we can choose to fight back. We can choose to embrace the light, to cultivate inner strength and resilience. The assassin feeds on fear and a weak mind and body, which is why diet and detox help. It thrives in the shadows of self-doubt and negativity, but it weakens in the face of courage, compassion, and self-love. When we choose to focus on our strengths, when we nurture our inner light, the assassin's power diminishes. Cleanliness is next to godliness. We are not powerless victims. We have the ability to choose our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. We can choose to embrace our spiritual gifts, to use our experiences to help others who are struggling. We can choose to become beacons of light, illuminating the path for those lost in the darkness. Section 6. Embracing the duality. The journey of spiritual awakening is not always easy. It's a path filled with challenges, setbacks, isolation, and moments of doubt. But it's also a journey of profound growth, self-discovery, and liberation. It's a journey of embracing the duality of our existence, the light and the darkness, the mundane and the mystical. We all have a shadow self, a part of us that is hidden, repressed, and often feared. But it's in integrating our shadow, in acknowledging its presence, that we can achieve true wholeness. The assassin, in its own twisted way, is a catalyst for growth. It forces us to confront our fears, to develop our inner strength, and to embrace our authentic selves. The spiritual path is not about eliminating the darkness, but about learning to dance with it. It's about recognizing that both light and darkness are essential aspects of our being, and that it's in the interplay of these forces that we discover our true potential. I am certainly happy I survived the attacks. Meanwhile, God continues to show me something grand is on the way. Yay is all I can say.